morning, I'm Gladys. Can I know your name?
I'm Patricia Paul.
How can I call you?
You can address me as Patricia.
Do you have a large family or a small family?
Well, I come from a loving and close-knit family. We are a family of three. My father is a businessman by profession, and my mother was a software engineer. Now she's, of course, retired.
Can you tell me something about them?
Well, my father is an amazing personality. I think I've taken after him. My mother is equally a very strong-willed and a fantastic woman. She's been my role model, and both of them have made sure that they've given me a wonderful life. They are people with a zest for life. So that is something that I really admire about them.
How much time do you manage to spend with the members of your family?
I'm very particular that I get quality time with each and every person in the family because I, as a person, value relationships, and investing time is one of the best ways by which you show care and affection. So I guess, depending on the day of the week, the time, of course, varies.
What sort of things you like to do together?
I love shopping. I'm a shopaholic. I will shop till I drop, and I have an amazing husband who's very patient with me whenever I take him shopping. And of course, my mother and my child as well, they accompany me.
Do you get on well with your family?
Yes, I have. I believe I have amazing people management skills, pretty good at interpersonal skills, and my family is always loving and supportive. So yes, I get along fabulously well with them.
The cue card topic for you. Describe a teacher who has influenced you in your education.
Well,
maybe I'll give you a minute.
It's a bit of a coincidence that you've asked me to speak about this because it's a little sad, but I'm glad that I have this opportunity to speak about a teacher whom I admire the most. It's Mr. Bernard. He was the principal as well as my English teacher when I was in high school. And I say it's a little sad speaking about him at this moment because he just passed away a couple of weeks before. And I was there at the funeral. And I delivered the eulogy as well. While I can go on and on about the amazing qualities that this man had, I'd quickly like to point out the foremost things that captured my imagination. To begin with, he was a very powerful personality. He had that ability to influence almost anybody whom he came into contact with. And I owe my English language skills, my fluency, my enunciation, the articulation, I owe it all to him because he was a brilliant orator. I had the privilege of, studying in the same school under his leadership for over 12 years. And every morning he spoke in the morning assembly for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And I remember even as a child, I used to be wide-eyed with wonder. I used to be dumbstruck at his stage presence. I haven't come across anybody, who's had that much of an influence on me. And the best thing about him was that he recognized that I had this innate talent to be an orator, to be a public speaker at a very young age. And he would always encourage me to speak. And he was to give me some valuable tips about how, you need to engage with the audience, how to maintain eye contact. Those are things that I picked up from him. And he, not only that, he was a role model in the sense that he was an amazing father. He was a wonderful husband, and he was an excellent administrator. In fact, he was the man who put my school on the map, and he set the bar really high. He set the bar very high, and my expectations in any man, I probably take it from him. So that is what I want to share about my amazing teacher, and I just say, God rest his soul in peace.
Let's get into the part 3. How has education changed in your country in the last 10 years?
Well, it's changed by leaps and bounds. We're no longer confined to the traditional system of students being inside the classroom. I think we've taken a much more practical approach. There are a lot of field trips and experiments, a lot of hands-on experience and training that's been given to the children.
What changes do you foresee in the next 50 years?
I think there would be a dramatic shift towards artificial intelligence, the usage of maybe robotics and other things as intelligent aids for teaching. And I do not think that children would have notebooks, or they wouldn't have to take down notes and lectures.
So how do the expectations of today's school leavers compare with those of the previous generation?
Well, I think when somebody is in high school, today's generation in particular, I think they are much more focused and prepared, and they exactly know what they want, and they know that just going to the college and just gaining a degree isn't really going to give them that extra edge. They're willing to, the change in the sense is they're willing to hone their skills by investing in doing something different. So I think that's a dynamic shift that we see.
What role do you think extracurricular activities play in education?
Well, I think that is what defines their success in the workplace. You may be really intelligent, you may have amazing analytical skills and become a brilliant software engineer or so, but if you do not have those interpersonal skills, or which you develop through extracurricular activities, by you learn team management by playing a game like basketball or football, where you learn to coordinate with your team members. So for somebody to become a successful professional, I think extracurricular activities are the key.
What method of learning works best for you?
For me in particular, I like to be left by myself. I'm a self-learner. I'm a night owl. I can burn the midnight oil and I can learn things by myself. So I do not like to be pushed. I do not like to be tutored. So I think that style of learning works best for me.
How beneficial do you think it is to group students according to their level of ability?
Well, I am not really convinced that we need to group students, because the real world isn't so. People come with different skill sets, and a team is well-rounded and well-developed when people with different abilities come together. Grouping people, based on their abilities only stagnates them and does not really push an individual to reach their desired potential.
Well, that's the end of your test. Thank you.
Thank you so much.